Does anybody have a sheet of paper that looks like this?
Yep.
Okay, good. That's why I was losing my mind. It's like I thought I had those here. That's your next subject, Linda, whenever you want to move on to it.
Okay, we're moving on to past the utility accounts.
That is what you have. That's what that spreadsheet is in front of you.
Without giving names.
Right.
And number 505 refuses regular payments and a payment agreement.
Right. That is, and Linda and I discussed this yesterday, that is the only account that I am not feeling good about. The last...
Do they say why?
No.
Well, it
I've
says
said...
right there
Where?
what
Well,
he
the
plans
refuses.
to do.
Yeah,
Oh.
here's his plan by the end of the month. Why, I don't know. I have sent multiple offers to get him on a payment agreement, and for those that aren't aware, the law says that we have to give these people a payment agreement, and when we do that, we have to give them 12 months to spread that delinquent balance out over. However, each month they have to pay the new bill plus that 1/12 of the old bill. And everybody is working towards getting caught up or in a formal agreement that's working to get caught up. And I've sent this customer several. And the last note I got says that he should get an inheritance by the end of the month, and then he will pay it in full.
But that's still no guarantee that...
That's just verbal.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
I guess my request from you is direction that we allow this to go to the 26th of the month. If I don't have any money on that day, we deliver a shut-off notice and shut him off on the 28th or the 31st. Or
I kind of researched a little bit of the electrical payment. When they have to make a payment like you were talking about, the 12 months, okay, if they make 2 payments and then they quit, then you have to start all over again.
Yeah.
But you only have to do that twice.
Right.
And then you can just shut them off.
Well, you have to
Give
give
them
them notice, but
and
yeah.
shut them off
Yeah.
in
You're
24
right.
hours.
Yeah.
I think we need to change, I looked at our ordinance, and I think we need to change our ordinance when that comes up.
This is not an ordinance.
I know it
This is
isn't
an
an
Iowa
ordinance.
Utility
Yeah.
Bill,
I realize that.
Iowa Utility Board, so it doesn't need to be in our ordinance.
No, I know that. But I think we could slap harder penalties on these people because they're habitual.
Nancy and
And
I
I-
talked
and-
about we're going to pursue this on a stricter basis,
You know, maybe give
so it
them,
doesn't get to this point.
yeah. And then when they get a hookup fee, make sure they pay a $250 deposit.
Most of our
if they don't have
deposits
any.
are more than that, Cindy.
Yeah. Or $50 reconnect fee plus.
Our reconnect fee, once we've disconnected,
25.
right, and we can change that. We, about 4 or 5 years ago, instituted that door tag fee, where every time we have to deliver a shut-off notice, we charge them $25.
Well, I think you should, on the water, I think these people, I think the water should be shut off.
Yes.
And that's not controlled. We can control that. So I think we should just give them because we have our own water thing.
Right.
So give them a notice and
Right.
disconnect their water.
And their electricity.
Yeah,
Now, we go into-
even just their water, if they're making a formal arrangement, can't you still disconnect their water?
Not as long as they're paying on
Paying
a
on
regular
it.
basis.
Okay.
Well,
And
you
the
see-
ones that don't want to pay.
As long as they're making an attempt.
A
And
reasonable
that's
attempt.
always
Right.
been the council's attitude towards this. As long as they're making a reasonable attempt, that bad things happen to good people once in a while, and that's kind of where we're at.
But they milk that.
And yeah, and we've learned who they are, and I gotta tell you, this is the hardest part of my job. Because, you know, we did disconnects, Jerry delivered disconnect notices Tuesday morning. Each one was a 24-hour notice, but it had a note on it that said the office is going to be closed. You can leave your payment in the drop box, or the office will be open at 8 o'clock Friday morning. You have until 9 o'clock to get your payment in. But at 9:05, we're going to disconnect those who haven't paid. Well, 10 minutes after he disconnected, then I'm getting phone calls and getting yelled at, and people coming in here yelling at me. I've spent the afternoon on the phone at home because same people are yelling at me. So personally, this is really hard for me because I can see the struggles that people have. And council's always supported helping those out that need the help. But when they've taken advantage for too long, then it's time to stop that.
That's ended up with us stuck with utility bills. They move out, then we're stuck.
If council wants to change their position on that, that's why we're talking about it. If council wants to change their position on that and make me the hard blank, 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 okay. But then I need council standing behind me when I do those things.
I don't want Jerry going out after hours or on weekends to reconnect. I want it to be during business hours only. Because it's not right that you have to do it at night or on the weekends, because if they're delinquent, they have their time, they have to get it in, so.
They get plenty of notice.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I'm making it a known fact that, Jerry, you don't have to go out on the weekend and reconnect them, because they came in on Saturday morning and paid their bill when they were supposed to get it to us by Friday.
It
So,
should be during the week.
yep, during business hours, and
And people that have fuel assistance, yes, you cannot disconnect their electricity during November through March, but you can still disconnect their water. And we can make them pay, even though they don't pay electricity, let's make them pay the water and their sewer and
And we
everything else.
have attempted to do that and done somewhat successfully on that. But what Jerry will tell you, that there's a lot of those water shut-offs in January you can't find
yeah.
and you can't turn. So, I mean, we try that, but if we don't have the mechanism to really shut them off.
Are they just frozen, like Jerry?
Well, the worst thing is you do not want to screw with the water valve in the wintertime. It just seems like you're digging it.
How do the other towns do that?
They
then?
do the same thing, but they got their own back, it's just, sometimes you get by with it, but sometimes it just seems like all of a sudden you snap the thing down
And you
below.
break it.
So then you gotta try to dig it up in the wintertime, I just hate it in the wintertime, but
Okay.
if you gotta do it, you gotta do it. It's just Justin probably vouched for that stuff,
Yeah, they're finicky
yeah,
when it's
just
cold.
screw around that water in the wintertime when it's cold as heck, and I hate it, but like I said, I'll do it if I have to. Like I said, we've had to dig them up in the wintertime, because they just end up snapping.
But we're going to try and keep a better handle on not getting to that point with those that are so far behind. So we shouldn't have to dig them up in the winter then.
But like I said, most of the time in the wintertime, you don't have, you can turn the water off. But like I said, most of those people, the one we normally got to do, you don't have no problem. They've been limited up quite a few times, but it's just
Some of them have been touched in years.
yeah, those ones that are, you just,
Maybe you should go around and lube them all up before snow flies.
the normal ones you don't have no problem, but the other ones, when I feel like it's tight, I do not want to go any further because I've had them snap. And then you're
Up a creek without a paddle.
Yeah, I always thought you couldn't turn any electricity off in the wintertime, but that's not true either. If they're not energy efficient, they can turn it. If the next 24 hours are going to be 20 degrees and above, it can be shut off.
If they're not on the low income.
Yeah, right, if they're not on
Right,
an energy
right.
efficiency thing.
Right.
Nancy, on account 385 and 415, have they been pretty religious?
Yes. Yes, and those are payment agreements that are probably 3 to 4 months in.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been good. They've been good customers. Once I finally got them on
And
on a payment
they
agreement.
should be paid off in a year,
Yes,
right? Okay.
yes. And most of these customers on here are also customers that have large bills every month. I would bet you that if you went in their house, every toilet leaks and every faucet drips. I would just bet you.
Well, there's nothing we can do about that.
No.
Anyone have any other comments regarding the past due utility?
Just maybe you said, Nancy, at what point do you initiate the 12-month contract?
When they have a delinquent bill, then I make an offer of the payment agreement to try to get them to,
How,
Yeah, but how
But,
far?
1 month
how
delinquent?
quickly
or-
into delinquency?
Yeah.
I would say they usually have 3 months that they owe us. See, and the way the law works, we bill them on the 1st, they have 20 days to pay. At that point, if they don't pay, you have to give them another 12 days.
Okay.
Well, by the time you get to that point, you've got 2 months worth of bill.
Maybe that's when we should start the disconnect notice.
Well, at the end of the 12 days, then you give them the 24-hour notice. Normally, we give a 24-hour notice and they come in and they'll say, I can't pay you all of it, but I can pay you this much and I'll catch it up next month or I'll catch it up in 2 weeks. Part of the issue is I can't babysit these people either when they do those things. So, if you don't want me to allow or accept partial payments, that's maybe something else you need to direct me to do. But
You've been using the 3 months as kind of your figure? Okay.
and it's and as soon as they get to where they can't make those payments or even 1 month it's okay to let them be $50 or $100 short on a $300 bill, but the next month you shouldn't. And then I start working at getting them into a payment agreement. But some of these people, if they're not working and aren't making any money, aren't making those payment agreements anyway. And some of them we've done 2 payment agreements to get them to be faithful. And I will tell you that I do once in a while, the law says I have to give them a 12-month payment agreement, but I do once in a while try to talk them into 6 months and get it taken care of, depending on.
But at that point, you could always fall back and make it look a little better that you're giving.
Well, then when you go,
You know.
if they break that one and you have to do another payment agreement, then you give them the 12-month
Right.
one. But
It make it a little easier.
we really don't do anybody any favors by not being really hard about this, because we just allow them to get in deeper. But I'm sorry, I'm a little soft-hearted on people that I know aren't working and they got kids in the house, and I'm sorry, that's my downfall.
This comment about notes will get inheritance by the end of the month. Specifically, like last day of the month, or just in general?
In
end of the
general.
month?
In fact, I can show you the note if you want to interpret it for yourself. Don't read the backside. We should keep the names out of the deal, so.
This month, just says this month.
This month. So basically, he's talking by last day. I would assume.
So if we cut it
Or
off on the
else could already have
26th,
it.
Well, that's why I recommend sending a disconnect notice about the 26th, and if I don't have a check on the 31st, it goes dark.
Then first and second, we can.
Well, because what happens is on the 1st, they become eligible for the LIHEAP program. I don't think this customer is eligible for the LIHEAP program, but I don't know that.
So do I have a motion to make a recommendation for Nancy to send a letter the 26th?
I make a motion for Nancy to send a letter the 26th to disconnect.
Do I have a second?
And
If it's
disconnect
not
on the
paid.
31st?
Yeah.
A second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Motion carried. Next item on the agenda
Did
is...
everybody vote?
Everybody was a yes.
I did.
Did you want me to kick you under the table?
Oh, I think I'll stay awake, Larry.
Okay. No, I meant when it comes time to vote.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
No.
Yes?
How many
I think that'll
customers
be
is that for?
necessary.
How many customers was that for? We were talking about one customer at the moment. We need
Can I just take a time out and say, who's this gentleman? He wasn't here at the last meeting.
This
Very
is
much.
Curtis Blaze. He has a website called thesacnews.com.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Good meeting you. I didn't know who you were.